What's up everyone, it's Shaker here at Film Gob. Thanks for tuning in, and it's finally time for my review of Suicide Squad, which I got to see this afternoon. A lot of you have probably only seen Shorty's review that he did earlier this week. You can go back and watch it here. And you know Shorty, he goes a bit nuts on the Rotten Tomatoes, but myself, I actually wanted to see the film. So I got to watch it and I thought, this is a good film. It's not perfect, it's not great, but I enjoyed it. It's a fun, entertaining action film. It doesn't even feel, at times it doesn't even feel like a comic book, typical comic book movie. It's more of a good, entertaining summer action film, and this year has been lacking that kind of entertainment. I'll talk about a few things, like when it comes to the pacing of the film. It starts off really quick, and there's lots of kind of quick editing and effects that I thought were a bit jarring, but that's quite early in the film, and then it kind of slows down. The pacing of the film is fine, the tone is very kind of dark overall, but there's a lot of lightness and humour in there. For a movie that's over 2 hours long, I thought it kind of flew by for me, so it didn't drag in places, so that was good. When it comes to the story and the plot, it's not great because it does feel a bit muddled, a bit kind of quite like the musical score that you can hear in the background, but then there's also kind of traditional songs mixed in. The only scene that I didn't like was, well, not the scene, but just the choice of music, was when the Suicide Squad, they're kind of gearing up and they're putting on their gear and they're getting their guns, and Eminem is playing. That was the one moment in the film where I thought kind of feels out of place. For me, the best thing about this film was the cast, the characters, the performances, and the interaction between the characters. I thought, see Will Smith, fantastic. He's so good. I would love to see a Deadshot solo film or him appearing in the solo Batman films, because I thought Will Smith, he wasn't kind of over acting, he wasn't cracking a lot of jokes, but any time there was any kind of lightness from him, any kind of humour, it felt kind of, it was delivered the right way, and it fit into the kind of the movie that this is. So he was fantastic. You have Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, everything you've seen of her in the trailers, she delivers and more. We have Diablo, a really well fleshed out character, background story. His kind of character arc is probably the best in the film, and yeah, unfortunately he sacrifices himself for the greater good, and it's a shame we won't see him in the other movies, but if there are other movies, but yeah, it's so very well done character. Really enjoyed it. So Captain Boomerang, played by Jai Courtney, he didn't have that much to do, but the little he did have, he was quite funny. It's quite enjoyable, quite likeable, kind of bad guy, and I just wish there was just a little bit more from him. Same goes for Katana. They try to give her some kind of backstory as well, that, you know, her husband died and she has his soul trapped in his sword, because she collects souls from, you know, our victims. We saw that in a trailer, but we never actually saw that in the movie where she's collecting souls. Probably might have seen that in the trailer, but we never got that actually. We never actually got to see that in the movie itself. So and I liked how she only, I think most of her part she was speaking Japanese only, and you had the subtitles. I really liked Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag, because he has this relationship with Cara Delevingne's character. So Cara and Joel, they have this relationship, and it kind of, you feel something for those characters throughout the movie. So there is some kind of weight behind the events that are happening, and right till the end. Enchantress, the kind of visual style that they came up with are fucking amazing. There's a scene early on in the film where she calls out the Enchantress by saying the name Enchantress, And so Cara Delevingne's hand, you see a black hand come up like that, and it flips over, and then that's when Enchantress appears. That scene takes place in the kind of military meeting room, or whatever it was, Pentagon meeting room. And that scene was so good, so well done, just the way the hand comes up and it flips over and then she appears. So, and then just the kind of design of Enchantress, whatever scene you saw her in, kind of visually stunning. There's a part of the film where she becomes different and kind of more godlike, and I didn't like that because you saw more of Cara Delevingne and her kind of this weird kind of movement that she had. But when she's got this kind of dark look of it all over her, I thought it worked perfect. So Killer Croc was a bit of an odd character because as good as he looked, the few lines that he had, either is because of his accent or something, I don't know, it just didn't feel right. Or he's into kind of hip hop and things like that. It's not hinted at earlier in the film, it's only hinted at towards the end of the film, so I thought that was a bit weird. Viola Davis was awesome. I thought the way she was just as scary as the other members of the Suicide Squad, if not more. I really liked her. And then there's Slipknot, who comes in, makes his bizarre entrance by punching a woman, and then he says she had a mouth. And it's probably one of the most despicable things you can say in a movie these days. But then he's the first to die very quickly. He tries to escape and his head blows off or something like that. And it was quite funny because someone had to be made an example of, so I guess they chose him. So the story and the plot is it's okay. I mean, it's decent. Basically, Enchantress escapes from this squad that Viola Davis is assembling, Amanda Waller is assembling, and the Enchantress, she then goes out to seek her brother, finds him, and then they have some plan to build this kind of a machine to. Then you've got the kind of blue light going up into the sky. We've seen this before in comic book, well, not just comic book films, but just films in general, where there's some kind of blue light going up to the sky and it's going to be apocalyptic and it needs to be stopped. And so that was kind of average, but the visual effects are really good in this film. Like I thought, like again, I say, Enchantress, her look, her kind of she gets to teleport all over the place, and the final fight scene between Enchantress and the Suicide Squad, so well done, like visually choreographed, all really well done. I'd love to just go back and watch that scene again because it's so good. I can't wait until Comic-Con next year, and all the young women will be dressed as Enchantress. It's going to be awesome. So I've not mentioned Batman and the Joker. That's because they're not really in it that much. Obviously Batman, he makes a couple of appearances, he's fine. Now the Joker, he does get his fair share of screen time, and what we've seen in this movie of the Joker is, and you've probably seen it in the trailers, it's very different from the Joker we've seen before, but it fits in very well with this world that they've created. It's a very kind of old school kind of gangster, but times 100. It's like in a modern day setting, and he's got the gold chains, he's got the jewellery on, and it's just kind of nuts. He's got the kind of fillings in his teeth, and he does spend, Jared Leto, he does spend a lot of time growling, and I was like, no, I'm not sure. But one thing is, he does come across as a very scary, psychopathic kind of guy. His kind of madness is kind of more restrained in this film because I'm sure if they made him more, if they fleshed out his character even more, then you would say, oh, he's the bad guy of this film. But that's not what they wanted. So the writers and the director, I think they made a good choice that they've cut out some of his scenes. And there's some scenes in the trailers that just aren't in the film, which is kind of, unfortunately, that's the way trailers are these days and movies are these days. But I think they're holding back the Joker for now, and then we'll see his true kind of craziness in the solo, hopefully the solo Batman films. But there's a few moments where he goes nuts, and it was worth watching. But this Joker definitely in Suicide Squad, not that much screen time, but then again, he's not the main villain, so it's kind of understandable. So yeah, The Flash, there's a cameo by The Flash, really well done, very quick, and it's just enough to kind of whet your appetite for when we get to see The Flash in the Justice League and the solo film. Batman, like I say, he makes a couple of appearances. There's the scene where he turns up all of a sudden behind Deadshot when he's out there walking the street with his young daughter, and they go down an alley and then he comes up from behind him. So the scene where Batman's on top of the Joker's car, he crashes into the river, and Batman pulls out Harley Quinn. Someone says, some idiots, critics said that the mouth to mouth that Batman gives Harley Quinn to save her, it was too sexual, but it was actually Harley Quinn kissing pretending and then kissing Batman, and she starts laughing. It's just, some people are just easily offended, what can you say? So my favourite scene in the movie is the bar scene that you've probably seen in the trailer, when they're sitting at the bar, they're having a drink, and at that point they feel that the mission's over, they can't go on, but then Rick Flag comes in and kind of comes clean with them, and they get their kind of motivation to go out and take down the bad guy, or the Enchantress. And that's the scene where El Diablo, he kind of explains why for most of the movie he's trying not to use his powers, that he feels like it's a curse, and people get hurt when they're around him, and he tells a story about what happened to his family, and it's very tonally, it's very kind of suddenly kind of goes very serious, and even Harley Quinn's kind of interaction with Diablo becomes very serious. But that's the moment where the team kind of bonds over that discussion. So that's the scene I really liked. There's a lot of humour in the film and lots of good action scenes, but that to me kind of brings the Suicide Squad together. Now, even though David Ayer said that this cut is his cut, the cut of this film is his final cut, a theatrical cut, he didn't say that there's not going to be an extended edition, so I'm sure there will be, because there's definitely scenes that feel kind of quickly moved along, or there's more in there that should have been. So I look forward to the extended edition. So even though I'll go and watch it one more time in the cinema, I'm sure there's an extended edition that will come out on Blu-ray, and I look forward to getting that. So where does Suicide Squad sit in the DCEU? Some people are saying it's their favourite DC film of this universe. I can't agree with that, but Man of Steel and the ultimate cut of Batman v Superman, still for me, solid 4 out of 5s. Even though I love the performances, the cast, and the characters and the interaction between the characters, it's mainly the story and the plot that let it down. When it comes to a rating for this movie, I would give it 3.5 out of 5. In my opinion, that's still a solid, good film, entertaining. Obviously the story and the plot and maybe some of the lesser characters not being like fleshed out enough for my liking, that's kind of brings the film down a bit, but still I want to watch it again. I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray, hopefully an extended cut. I loved, like I say, I've already mentioned how much I love Will Smith's Deadshot, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, Enchantress, and it's like you cannot have everything. I understand some people are going to complain that the Joker's not in it enough. Well, if he was, then he would have been the main villain, and that's not the point of this story. So I enjoyed it. I still don't understand the hate the critics have been giving it. So thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the movie. Click like, subscribe if you've not already subscribed, because I'll have more awesome content coming. And Shorty as well. The guy's nuts. The little guy's, he's a bit insane. But yeah, he does do good content that you guys seem to love. So until next time, everyone, this is Shaker, and I'm out. Catch you later.